booties for black girl nerds.
Okay, thank you. Marcus, it's good to be with you. Happy holidays and time for the Johnsons to get back to work, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you. Yeah, good to talk to you as well. Hope everybody had a happy new year and fantastic holidays. And, we're out there voting and making sure that we're getting Mitch out of there. So, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And the same to you as well. It was a lovely holiday season. And that's a good segue. Talking about Mitch McConnell, what's going on with voting and voting rights. That was a very poignant jump off point for Blackish this season. And we've seen the evolution of Junior and being more civically minded and
Yeah.
responsible. Where is he? What is his place now in the Johnson household? Aside from being the oldest, what does he serve to the household?
To the group, I think what you said is civic mindedness, because obviously the Johnsons are very proud of their heritage and proud of their culture and who they are, and Junior is leading that charge for the new generation and making sure that we're getting out there voting and using our power and uniting together to make our voices heard. And I think that's where he kind of stands, and he's challenging Dre's views, he's challenging Beau's views, he's becoming his own person. He's growing in his relationship with Olivia. So I think he fits in a lot of different ways into the Johnson household and brings a little bit of the fresh, the new.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what does it look like for this arc of the season, or the second half of the season, I guess you could say, as he continues along this path of maturity and awareness and discovery? And what other type of attributes do you think he's going to discover along the way to the end of the season?
I think he's maturing just as a whole, as a person, and growing into be a dope young man. He's kind of trying to figure himself out still. I think as we all are at the age of 20. I'm 20, about to turn 21, and you're still trying to figure out your place in the world. And Junior's still trying to figure out what exactly he wants to do. But I think he's coming into his own and growing in his relationship, growing in his maturity when it comes to interacting with his family members, and just being a part of the Johnson family, just being one of the gang.
Mm-hmm. If you gauged your own maturity, you are close in age with your character, and people like to think that art imitates life. But in terms of, say, a maturity scale, where will you say you are, Marcus versus Junior? Who's winning right now?
Who's winning? I feel like Junior's always been a little bit behind. Not to toot my own horn, but I feel like he's always been kind of he's been a gullible guy, and he's like a great human being and somebody who's extremely driven and wants to know more about the world. And I feel like that's kind of reflected in kind of what I like to do. I like to learn as much as possible. It's kind of my philosophy. I want to do everything before I leave this earth. So hopefully, I think Junior kind of has the same outlook on life. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm gonna put myself ahead, which is, I know, a little bit, a little cringy, a little bit cocky, but I don't know. Junior's a bit of a dope sometimes.
No, I'd put you ahead too. I agree with you. I don't
Thank
think
you.
that's cringy too much.
Yeah.
With that being ahead and maturing and becoming a man on camera after we've watched you grow from being so young to where you are now. And I had an opportunity to see another project that you were in, Farewell Amore, and then just to see this progression of you as an actor. Do you think that people are accepting the fact that you're growing up? Because sometimes audience can be resistant, but you have been nicely, gradually coming into your manhood. Is the audience taking the journey with you, or do you think they're still a little resistant?
I think some people, obviously Blackish being such a classic / iconic show, a lot of people have grown up with the show and see themselves in the characters. So I think the audience has been a little bit resistant, but Farewell and More, being a part of that project was amazing. Got to kind of step outside of Junior and show a different aspect of my acting chops, if you will, and that was a lot of fun to be a part of and tell that amazing and that beautiful story. And get to support Jane Lawson in her role as in that project, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of, and I'm glad that people have gotten to see that and show that, oh, maybe he doesn't act like Junior in real life. So It's been kind of cool to get to grow up and step outside of that. So yeah.
I love that. That happens to a lot of younger actors when they are trying to, move on. They love the role and they like that they endeared themselves to people for
Yeah.
so long, but they want to do different things as
Yeah.
performers. And I love the path when actors like yourselves go into independent films and do things like that. With
Yeah.
working on a project like that, an independent film versus, doing a big budget sitcom on a network, how did that stretch you and help you to grow as a performer and an actor?
Yeah, definitely. Even before Blackish, I was working on a lot of independent films. Not many of them were as quality as Farewell and More. Farewell and More turned into an amazing project. We've been getting great reviews, and we got to go to Sundance, and it was a whole thing. But obviously, being in a big production like ABC is going to have a lot more money to do things. So, getting to actually just do like the raw, the grimy nature of Farewell and More, and just be
Mhm.
up in the streets of Brooklyn and just like get to act out these scenes and kind of feel DJ's character was, it felt amazing. It was great. And it's kind of like when I started acting, I originally mostly did drama work. So it was kind of a shock to me when Blackish ended up being the first thing that I booked, and it was great to get to learn more about the world, and I fell in love with the comedic scene. But Farewell and More allowed me to kind of get back to my roots and showcase to people what I can do. So it was definitely a step outside of what I've been doing, but a breath of fresh air.
Mhm. And so as we enter this final curve, Dre and Junior, and the relationship continues to grow and continues to
Mhm.
blossom. Is he starting to see him as a man now?
I
Is he
think
gonna
so.
let him grow up some more?
Yeah, I think he's Dre is finally respecting. Obviously, Junior don't pay no bills, so that's just that's instantly like, okay, you ain't fully grown yet, but Dre is definitely starting to respect his opinion more, the way that he sees life, and letting him grow as an individual. We shot some episodes recently that really showcase that. And Junior, always recently he's been challenging Dre's points of view a lot more instead of just kind of going with the flow attitude, which has been allowing him to grow as well. So those two aspects combined, we really get to see Dre respect Junior for the person that he's growing into.
Mm. As you filmed this season 7, what was a moment that's taken place already that you were like, "Oh, I can't wait till people see this"?
I,
Or
I
has that moment even occurred yet in this season where you're like, "Oh, I'm hyped for people to see when this happens"?
Yeah, we've got one episode coming up that I feel like was really, because Blackish were always pushing the boundaries of network television. I feel so. We've got an episode coming up that I'm really excited for people to see that. I'm not going to spill the beans on, but yeah, it's pushing the boundaries. And then one of our episodes that we filmed that I was excited for everyone to see was when Junior and Bo had the conversation about coronavirus and about how we all have an impact on what's going on in the world, and we have a responsibility to humanity and to our fellow citizens to do the right thing. That scene was extremely powerful when we shot it. I know it almost brought me and Tracy to tears. So it was nice when that finally left the vault and people were able to see that pretty early on in our season. So that's one from the past, and then we got a cool episode coming up that I'm excited for everybody to see. That's pushing the boundaries.
Well, we like that. And
Yeah.
lastly, before we wrap up, final words. We know that Marcus the man is also civically minded, like Junior on Blackish. So, parting words for those who are still reluctant. I mean, there's still people out there who are reluctant about using their voice for change as an agent of change and to help their fellow man. What would you say to those people?
We got to get Mitch McConnell out of office. Georgians, get out there and vote. Get his butt out of there. But just make sure that you're. I feel like if you have something that you want to say, the best way to do it is through your vote. We control the government. The government doesn't control us. We, the people, have the power. So if we unite together and use that combined force to kind of get a message across that we want to be portrayed, then it will happen. So don't think that you're powerless. Together, we are powerful. And I'm going to do everything that I can using my platform to spread that message and let everybody know that you do have a voice and you're able to make these changes that you want to see in the world. So get out there and vote. That's really what it's all about.
Amen. Well, I thank you, sir. It is a pleasure as always. You're delightful and wonderfully talented. Thank you so much for your time.
Great seeing you too, Jeandra.
Take care.
All right. Peace.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.